Hey guys, it's Viar with the Gimpy Camper. We're going to talk about our Viar air compressor today and why I hate it. I would not recommend this product for you with an RV. Now, is that saying Viar is a bad product? No. But this is the 400P model. I tried to be a little bit cheaper and get that instead of the RV model, and I've regretted it since the first time I used it, which I think I only used it once because I dragged my big old air compressor out when I'm at home because I hate this thing, and I'll show you why. But we can go over the good parts first. How about that? So I keep it right here in the storage. Comes with a handy little storage bag. I do like that. I like that it's small. I like that it's not too heavy, and it's easy to fit in your truck or something like that if you want to keep it there. Open this thing up. There's a big zipper in the back of the pouch. The air compressor is just right back here. It comes with the clamps that go on your battery. The air filter does come unassembled, so you have to put that together, not too bad. And then it comes on this tray. On the tray there's rubber mounting bolts that keep it on there, so it's not too loud. We'll go over the noise and stuff here in just a minute. As far as the build quality, it's great. The on-off switch is back here on the back of it, as well as there's an inline fuse. Just to go over the rest of the components real quick, in the front part of the pouch is where I keep my tire chucks and stuff like that. With the 400P, this is the hose that you get. It's got a quick connector that goes on the back of the compressor. It's got a gauge, and it's got a pretty nice air chuck. And you can deflate the tires, which comes in handy for like overlanding and stuff, just by rotating this black piece at the bottom. It lets air out. So if it's that good of a product, then why do I hate it so much? It's because of the air chuck. On the RV model, it's like a traditional air chuck. You got a little gun, you squeeze the trigger. I guess you could probably get that hose for this, but I don't want to go through the extra expense of that. The issue with this is that there's no way to turn the air off on this. You have to go turn the compressor off. Well, this hose is coiled, and so you do have enough room to get, even if you hook it up at the truck battery, I've done before to get to the camper tires on my last camper, you have the room there, but in order to turn the air off, you got to walk all the way back to the compressor, or have a minion kid back there and tell them to turn it on and off and on and off, and it's just a hassle. So, is this good for emergency use? Yes. Is it going to make your life easy? No. And you know, for an overlanding experience, something like that, like I say, this would be great because it's going to give you a lot of air really quick. But for an RV where you're stretching the hose out, trying to get back to the tires, have to go back and turn it on and off and on and off, it wears me out. So do yourself a favor. Avoid this 400P model and just get the RV model if you really want to buy air. That's going to cost you a lot of money. This thing costs a lot of money. Another option that you guys have is Harbor Freight makes one that's very similar. Now, I was very tempted by that. I have a lot of Harbor Freight tools, I'll admit that. I like Harbor Freight. Can't get their bottom tier of tools because they're just crap, but a lot of their tools are okay. But as far as an emergency air compressor that would get my tires to 80 psi, I wanted a little bit more security than what a Harbor Freight tool were to offer. I mean, you know, it sits in your car forever, you hardly ever use it, but when you need to use it, you need to use it. You know what I'm saying? So let's take a look at this thing in action, and you make up your own mind on what you think about it. I do wish that the cord that goes up to the truck was just a little bit longer. but it's just barely enough to let this thing reach the ground. There's a protective cover over the quick connector on here. You just pull that off and put the hose on. We'll turn it on. So you can hear it there. It's not very loud at all, which is one of the things that is really good about Viar products. Then we're going to just hook it up to this tire. And after it's hooked up with it turned off, you can tell how much air is in there. But the problem is you can't tell how much air is in there with it running because you can't cut the airflow off. So in order to check the tire to see how much air is actually in there, you have to go back and turn this thing off, which is the whole argument that I have against it. So we're going to add a little bit of air to this tire. Saying about 70 to start with, and I turned it off and it went from 60 to 62. This isn't the fastest air delivery system. Really a lot slower than the like a regular compressor, but it is fast for an inflator. Alright, so we started out with 60 psi, which is what the tire's supposed to have in it in the front on this truck. Then we just added a little bit of air, so we're at like 65 now. So one reason that people like this for like overlanding and stuff, it's easy to lower your tire pressure by turning this black part like we talked about. So we're going to do that to let some air out. And we're going to check it again. And we're back to 60. So sometimes you work on a system and you don't get it quite right how you want it the first time. This is kind of what's happened with this whole project of an air compressor for me. You know, I'm not going to say Viar is a bad product because it's a great product, but I hate this thing. And you can probably change it to the other one, and I'll look that up. And I'll see if you can and see what the price is just for the hose or the chuck. And I'll put that right here if I was able to find it. So you guys just have to make your own decision on what you want to do for an air compressor. If you even want to carry one, I do suggest that you carry one if you're going to be towing a trailer. Because there's always times when you could use a little bit of air. One of the most important things for safety when towing is your air pressure in your tires. Please do not put that off. You know, you need to check your tires. I would recommend checking them before every trip, before you travel. And you need an air compressor to fill them up, or an inflator. And you'll have to be your own judge on what you want to get for that. It can be cheap, it can be expensive. Just beware of the cheap ones, because the cycle life on these, especially the little portable ones a lot of people carry, a lot of people swear by them. But they don't have that long of a life cycle where they can run and put air in, and they don't put a lot of air in. And so if you don't turn it off every couple minutes and let it cool down, you're going to burn that thing up pretty quick. So like I was saying, my biggest complaint about the Viar compressor is the hose that's on there. Well, you know, I was thinking because the hose looks differently, the chuck quick connector that's on the other hose, that you couldn't fit a regular hose on here. Taking a closer look at this, it is a universal joint, it looks like. So that does go on there. So theoretically, if you had a regular hose with two female ends on there, it would work. So let's try that out. I'm gonna steal the end off of the other air hose and put on here to have two female ends. See if we can convert this bad boy to the RV model. Okay guys, so we're going to try this out. I got one of my blue hoses here. I got two female quick connectors on that. That way one of these ends can hook into the Viar and the other one can hook into this tire chuck. And we'll give it a try. Okay guys, you saw that. That worked. Works okay. I still don't think it's the same exact thing as having the RV model, because from what I understand, the RV model cuts off when it reaches 150 psi, because I saw some winterizing videos that did that. And this one didn't seem to cut off. It just kept seeming to build pressure and keep running. And I was worried to burn it up. I didn't want to run it too long or anything like that, and didn't want to bust the hose. So I just opted to play it safe. But, you know, if you're airing a tire up, you can at least now stop the flow and check the pressure.
Do not forget to hit that subscribe button.